Start recording. So we are now recording. So this is Dr. David A. Padgett, and this will be, I will be giving instructions on how to complete the article review assignments. You will have one article review due each week until the end of the semester. So every week, one of these will be due. I'll remind you every week. So let's see. Here are the instructions. And then I'm going to walk you through these instructions, listen carefully, or at least refer back to the recording. So here are the instructions. I'm going to download this. This is exactly what you should do. And I'm going to walk you through this as best as I can this morning. Okay, so you will do one article review each week, okay, one each week until you get to 10, okay? So don't misinterpret. You don't have to do 10 article reviews this week. You just have to do one every week. The first one will be due on September the 21st, okay? So you have a week to get this done. With Dr. Padgett, we have to do an exam and article review. Yes, the exam is only going to take you one day. The article review, you can start on today, tomorrow, and so on and so forth. Okay, so I'm going to walk you through this process. Okay, so the first thing you're going to do is find a geography related, notice geography related, academic journal, popular magazine, newspaper, online, or other media source articles. Okay, so now notice that as we get into the instructions, how you approach this assignment is going to be based upon your career goals or your major. So what we're going to do now, and I'm going to pause the recording for a moment. Okay, so now that we have everyone's majors and career goals, when you do these article reviews, I would suggest that you scroll down to step 4. It'll make it easier, okay? Because the articles that you find must be related to geography and your career goals. So I'm going to start off because we only had one person who wants to be a teacher, but we're not going to leave Cade out. We'll get to Cade in a minute. So the easiest thing to do when you're looking for articles is to look for articles that are related to your major or your career goals and geography. So there are some easy ways to do that, okay? So of course you want to go to good old Google, and I'm going to use some of you all as examples. Some of you all have really easy majors to relate to geography. So in Google, let's say if you are, let's see, we've got Troutman. This is easy. If you do geography and, well, let's do this. Let's do geographic information systems and real estate. So Troutman says he wants to be involved in real estate. And again, these articles don't have to be directly related to your major, but just close. So we know that we're looking at geographic information systems and real estate. And in this case, we're looking at, in Troutman's case, real estate, and you'll get a ton of articles that relate. So here's one: 5 ways GIS is changing the game for real estate professionals. And so this will be a good article for Troutman. So we might have thought, well, you know, I'm majoring in real estate, or I'm not, or real estate is my part of my career interest. What does that have to do with geography? Well, really, real estate has everything to do with geography. It's about location, location, location. Really controls the value of real estate. In real estate, there's something called a view shed. So a view shed is what you see when you look out of your window of a building. The view, what an individual sees outside of his or her window, can add anywhere from $30,000 to $50,000 to the value of, say, a residential property, or even in some cases commercial properties. When you all start traveling, even for a limited real estate space such as a hotel room, when you go to the beach, I might ask you a question. Let's say you all are planning to go to the beach and there's a hotel on the beach. What would be your preferable location inside that hotel? What do you want to see when you look out of your window?
You want to see the water.
You want an oceanfront room. What costs more, the oceanfront view or the view that's looking at the hotel next door?
Ocean.
Yeah, that view, that room that's oceanfront might be $300 a night. If you want to look at the hotel next door, that room might be $120 a night. Just all depends on how much you have to spend. But the point I'm trying to make is the geographic location of a portion of a real estate development adds value to it. So real estate and geography go hand in hand. Okay, well, what about, let's see it. So what about that one? That's easy. GIS, real estate, tons of articles. What about Zoe Franks? Well, there's a subsector of, so Zoe Franks' major is biology. Well, there's something called biogeography. So if you type in biogeography, so biogeography is when we combine biology with geography. Hit that search and you get tons and tons of articles about biogeography. You might have to search a little bit. You might have to do biogeography. That might be too simple of a search. You might have to do biogeography and let's try this. Biogeography, bioinformatics. Let's see. So here's an article. Now this is an article from a scientific journal. This might be a little much, but this is an example of bioinformatics applied via biogeography. Now this article might be way more than you want to deal with, but this would, if you can read through this article, Zoe, this is the kind of article that you will be dealing with when you go to graduate school. Trust me, if you are majoring in biology and you don't go to medical school, you will be in graduate school at some point. Just count on it, get ready for it. So here's the types of articles that you might be asked to read and develop into an annotated bibliography when you go to graduate school. So, but this is just one example of how bioinformatics is related to what we call biogeography. And so if you put the proper search terms into Google, you will get a variety of articles that deal with biogeography and blah, blah, blah. And so there's tons and tons of articles that deal with Zoe Franks' interests. And let's see, we have Smith. Smith is easy. Let's see. Programming, geographic information systems, programming, blah, blah, blah. Tons of articles here about GIS, programming languages, on and on and on and on. So, like I said, in this case, Smith is easy. Now, what about Hussein? In general, as a, let's say, nurse practitioner, Hussein, if I were you, I would just focus upon health geography.
Okay.
So if you type in health geography, notice you'll get tons of articles, especially now. Health geography, or if you type in COVID-19 mapping, and you will get all the COVID-19 maps, articles on COVID. This can go, you can do all of your articles on COVID-19 maps, because I get at least one COVID-19 map a day. And so there are tons of stories. If you coronavirus map, COVID-19 map, COVID, just on and on and on and on. There's just how many hits did we get? We type in COVID-19 mapping, we got 6,320,000,000 results. So you have, if you're focusing on health and geography right now, you have an unlimited number of articles that you can refer to in terms of COVID-19, so on and so forth. So that's your first step, is to find an article, find an article that is related to your career goals and your major. Then all of you must create, if you don't already have one, just go into the TigerTrack and create a TigerTrack account. What is TigerTrack? TigerTrack is a service that is provided to you that you are paying for. You know, you all are paying for this service, may as well use it. But it's full of internships, graduate fellowships, scholarships, job opportunities that are related. But these job opportunities have to be related to your career plans and the article. Just look through TigerTrack. You should use this resource. Now, if for whatever reason you go to TigerTrack and you can't find anything, then feel free to go search Indeed.com or some other source for an internship or some example of a scholarship or whatever that is related to your career plans and the article. Once you find that, well, let's demonstrate. Why not? Let's see. Well, since TigerTrack is for students, I'll have to let you all do that. You know, I can't use TigerTrack. You all will have to do that. But let's see how that works out. And, you know, but when you do find an opportunity, what you should do is briefly explain it in your essay and then include the link to that opportunity. Okay. All right. So this section is how you would start off if I were you. If you were looking for an article that's related to your major, start with a search that includes your major and a geographic term, and then you'll get tons of articles. So that's the first thing that you'll do, is find an article. Okay, now what if you're an education major like Raven Cade? So if you're an education major, if you're planning to have a career in teaching, you know, not everybody who majors in education has a career and plans a career in teaching, but if you are planning to be a teacher, regardless of what you're majoring in, then you should do this track. So Cade, what you'll do, instead of doing this, you will go to the 18 national standards for teaching K through 12 geography. So if you're going to be a teacher, get used to standards. Standards are a way of normalizing the way subjects are taught, because what we don't want to have is for a student to go to school, say in Colorado, and have his or her biology class be completely different from the student that's going to school in Texas or Tennessee. So we have national standards for teaching certain subjects. That now there is some leeway, there is some levity to how teachers teach those subjects specifically. They might use different books, they might use different pedagogies, but at the end of the day, we want to have a pretty normalized means of teaching any subject. And really also within a single school district, obviously you wouldn't want to have subjects taught a different way at different schools in the same district. And so what is going on here? Well, let me just go to your, let's see, this should go content. Well, I'll go all the way back to the instructions and we'll go here. And then this link should take us right to it. There we go. So the link that's in the instructions, I'll have to change that link in that. The link that's in the instructions works. So works. So there are 18 standards for teaching geography. So now in in Raven Cade's case, you can find any article about just about anything. And so you can do whatever. So let's say geography of, as much as we're kind of sick of COVID-19, and so here is understanding the geography of COVID-19. So here's an article, blah, 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 blah. And so now what Zoe would do is you would go to the standards and ask yourself, which one of these standards is most closely related to this article? And of course, obviously the standard would be standard 1, how to use maps and other geographic representations, geospatial technologies and geospatial and spatial things to understand and communicate information. That's easy because we have a map of a disease. And so the whole point of mapping this disease is to understand the geography of the disease, because what we are learning about this disease is that it behaves different ways in different places, very different. Some cases, it doesn't spread as fast in one place to the next. And so you can see by looking at this disease geographically, we, or the medical professional community, can develop strategies for eliminating the disease. But it's not a one-size-fits-all strategy. What might work in South Korea might not work in New York. What might work in Chicago might not work in Miami. So it's a very difficult disease to understand, but mapping is being used, geography is being used at the forefront of fighting COVID-19 because it has different behaviors in different geographic regions. So for Raven Cade, in her essay, she would add a few sentences explaining to which of the 18 national standards for teaching K through geography the article is most closely related. So notice the key word that one of the words there is explain. So I don't want you to just mention, oh, this article is most closely related to standard 1. No, you have to, why is that? Why is the article most closely related to standard 1? That's what I'm going to be looking for in your essay. So that's how you should start. Start off by finding an article that is most closely related to geography and your major. Once you do that, now you have your article. Next, somewhere on your Word document, you must cite the article. Okay, so you have to provide a bibliographic citation. Now, in the instructions, I've given you a Modern Language Association style guide for citing articles. This is really a quick and dirty guide for you to use. So let's say you find an article. Most of you are going to find articles that are online. And so here's the format, author date format. Here's an example. So here's the author. Then here's the title of the article in quotations, and then in italics, wherever you found the article. So in this case, obviously the author's last name would be Courtwright Joe. And then the title of the article is Understanding the Geography of COVID-19. Okay, whoa. Okay, and then next, this article is in, now this is where it gets kind of tricky. So this is more or less an online resource. So it'd be City Observatory would be the name of this resource. It's not necessarily a journal article. It's a blog. Okay. Now, in this case, because this is a blog, and this is what's interesting and challenging about today's various types of media. When I was in school, we only had books and paper, right? Now there are all these formats for reporting information, such as a blog. So let's say you run across this, which is essentially a blog post, right? What you have to, what you'll do, it's very simple, don't panic. Just go to this is Google. Google is good for some things. Do the citing blog post. See, it just comes right up. You have APA style. How do I cite a blog post in APA style? Hit it there. How to cite a blog post in APA style. APA stands for American Psychological Association. And then you go there, and then it'll tell you, here's how to cite, blah, 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 citing a blog post. And here's some examples of how to cite a blog post. Okay, there you go. So in this case, it would be first, the last, it's the author's name, then apparently the date of the blog post, the title of the blog post, where you got it from, which is the link, and then that's pretty much it. So a lot of these media formats, blogs, Twitter posts, whatever, are relatively new. Given the entire history of how human beings have been communicating. So if you run into something like this where you're not sure, how do I cite a blog post? Just Google it, and you'll see some reference like this. It'll tell you exactly how to do it. So let's see. Okay, so let's say this is you. Okay, so I'm just going to show you exactly how to do this. So Padgett David. Okay, let's say this is you. So you're doing an article review. This is kind of how it should look, just to give you an example of the format. So you've got your name. Then let's say I'm a geoscience. My major is geoscience major. Okay, the next is article number and the date. And it doesn't have to be any particular order. So today's date is September 14th, 2020. And this will be article review number 1. Okay, so let's say I've got this blog post. So now, next citation. And let's see, we've got Courtwright Joe. Okay, so next we have Courtwright Joe. And let's go back to our format for blog posts. Example here. Let's see, this is 2020. Well, let me see we don't know what the date of this blog post is. Let's see, well, there it is, 2020, March 23rd, 2020. See, there's a date right there. So we have 2020, March 3. There, and next we have next comes the title. And so the title is Understanding the Geography of COVID-19. Boom, boom. Copy. Be very careful here when you do this. If you want to copy and paste, do paste special, unformatted text so that it uses the same font that you had to begin with. Understanding the geography of COVID-19. So let's go back to our APA style guide. So period there. Boom. Okay. So we're almost done. Understanding the geography of COVID-19. Boom, 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 boom. So we've got to need a period here. And we need a period here. Okay, so next in our formatting, it says this is a blog post. So we need bracket, blog post, just like that. Close the bracket. Back to our format guide, period. Period. Then we say retrieved from, and then just now we just need to pop the URL in there. And so we go here. Here's the source. Click on that. Right click. Copy. Again, we want to do that in paste special, unformatted text. Boom. Make the link live. And that's it as far as the citation. So let's just make sure we have there a period at the end there. Well, it's just like that. Boom, 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 boom. And there you have it. So there's your citation. So you've got, again, your name, major, date, article review number 1. There's your citation. And now let's move on to the next step. The next step is to summarize the article, 150 to 200 words, summary of the article's contents written according to the instructions below. So of course you will summarize the article. Now I'm not going to write the whole thing. I'm just going to, maybe I'll start off with the first sentence. Let me see, let me take a quick look at this article. Now, if I were you, I would write this in the first person. That way it's easier. And so I would say, this week, I found a very interesting article. Very interesting. Let's see, this week I read a very interesting blog post by Joe Court. The post piqued my interest because the content emphasized how maps are being used in the fight, in research efforts to eradicate COVID-19, blah, 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 etc. etc. Okay, so again, per the instructions, this 150 to 200 words is a minimum. Okay, that is a minimum expectation. If you want to write 300 words, no problem. If you want to write 400 word essay, no problem. Again, now if at some point in the in your essay, you should also add a career opportunity. So let's say it's me. I'm going to do this. I'm not going to use Tiger Track. Let's say I looked at the Tiger Track, couldn't find anything. So I'm going to go to Indeed.com and I'm going to search for, let's say, GIS, mapping, health, and I'm going to look, well, find jobs. Let's see. That's not really, no, not that either. Let's see, within 100 miles, can I find a job? Okay, here's something, geospatial analyst, blah, blah, blah. No, I don't know about that. Okay, here we go. Well, no, that's the benefits. Let's just say this job description fit. So in the essay, I would say I found a very attractive career opportunity using Indeed.com. And let's see, what's this career opportunity? Make ready supervisor with, and the company is Conexon. Conexon, the position requires strong mapping and GIS skills. And then you would simply go back to the opportunity. Okay, here it is. Boom. Let's see. Let me make sure that we have this. Let's see what happens when we hit apply now. Nope, we don't want to do that. Let's see. Let's see some. Let's see if we get back to the same page if we go to a different browser. Does it go back? Yeah. So we can use this link. Just pop that link in there. So remember, once again, we want to do paste special, unformatted text, and then make that link live. Okay, so now we're down to the next step. It says everyone in your summary, you must include at least one reference from the Bradshaw textbook chapters we are currently studying. Unit A equals chapters 1, 2, and 13. So that's pretty easy. So we go here, go back to here, here. Okay, if the textbook, what is going on with this textbook? So what I would do if I were you is in the textbook search bar, I would type in the words geographic information systems, and you would say, let's say textbook reference. As a matter of fact, I have textbook hard copy right here. So why don't I know for a fact that on page 7, I believe, actually textbook reference on textbook reference figure 1.7 geographic information systems, and includes a schematic diagram of the infrastructure of a GIS. And that's it. It can be just one sentence, just like that. There's your textbook reference. Okay, go to the textbook. Clearly, this article is related to GIS, so that's all you need to say. Okay, so that gets you into the textbook. Next in the instructions, everyone must include 3 to 5 keywords, and it doesn't necessarily have to be in bold print. You can either bold them in your essay, or you can just do this, keywords. So what are keywords? Let me see if I can, let's see. Yeah, one of those articles that this isn't really, yeah, one of the articles I pulled up earlier had keywords in it, but a keyword is simply a word or phrase that you think of that is directly related to the article that you found. Okay, so think of some words that you would use to do a search in Google to get more articles, for example, like understanding the geography of COVID-19. So let me just throw a question out here. Now, I'm going to pause the recording for a moment. Okay, so recording again. So here are some keywords that are related directly to that article. COVID-19, COVID-19 geography, COVID-19 mapping, health geography, epidemiology. Those are keywords. You have your textbook reference there. Of course, your essay, which you can write in first person, should be at least 150 words. Include the other elements that are related to your career goals, and or if you happen to be a pre-service teacher, how the article relates to the 18 standards, and then of course your citation, name, major, date, article number, and that's it. Turn in one of these each week. So I'm going to stop recording now. And so the recording of these instructions will be available as soon as possible.